I'm just going to do a quick walkthrough of the code behind the extra credit part of Lab 1 here. So the first thing that we're going to note is that because this is being done as a website, there are some limitations pressed on by browsers on doing cross-domain scripting. So to overcome that, we're just going to set up a simple proxy server here, which I'll go over in a minute. But that simply channels all of your requests through that so that you don't have the cross-domain limitations that you normally would have. So the first thing that we're going to do in our index.html page is we're just going to set up some references to some stuff that we need. You know, the jQuery UI, our style sheets, and jQuery itself. You could see these right here. The next thing that we have to do is just set up some basic HTML framework to work with. So we're going to hold everything in a div called UI widget. And in there we're going to have our main search box, which has the ID of tags. And anytime you press a key down, so anytime you type something, it's going to call a function called change. And taking a quick look at change here, you can see that if the key code is equal to 13, we're going to call a function called getResults. The key code 13 on most browsers is just mapped to the enter key. So that's going to submit the result, and it's going to fetch some weather information and display it. But if it's not the enter key, if it's anything else, we're going to call this function called reset, which is going to set up all of the autocomplete features. So taking a look at reset here, it is going to set up a URL to localhost 3000, which is our proxy server that I set up earlier. And it's going to call the auto method on there. Now taking a look here, you could see that the auto method, it takes one query parameter called Q, which is your query, and it's going to append that onto the Wonderground URL that we would normally use. And it's going to do a GET request, and once it gets the result back, it's going to call a function called getNames, which simply is defined below right here. It takes that array and it isolates just the name elements. And once we get that back, we're just going to turn it into a string and send it back to whoever requested it. And so that will bring us right back to here in our callback. So as soon as we get that back, we're going to parse that JSON and store it in a variable called res. And then we're going to call the jQuery UI's autocomplete function, passing it in the JSON that we'd like to fill the autocomplete box with. Okay, so now at this point, the user can go ahead and he can select any of these items. So for this to happen, he would press enter, which is mapped to key code 13, and that's going to call getResults. Taking a look at getResults here, this pretty much does two GET requests to get the current weather and get the forecast, and then it's going to turn them into HTML and output them to a div below the search box. So get current and get forecast, those just go to the proxy server and do a request to get that information, and then it just calls this anonymous function, passing it in the data itself. So first thing that we have to do here is parse the data, and then we're going to call these print functions, print current and print forecast. Each of those just generates some HTML on the fly. I don't want to get too into that. It's pretty tedious stuff. But so that's pretty much the end of that. So here I'm just going to show you how you go about starting up the server and what it will look like. So running this, we would write node proxy.js, and that's going to be listening on port 3000 on localhost. So if we go into a browser, go into localhost 3000, it's going to bring us straight to our index page here. And we can type in any city we want. So if we type in Philadelphia, we can go in here, we could select Philadelphia, and up comes our weather. We have our current forecast, fetches a little image from Wonderground for the satellite data, and here we have a detailed forecast. We can click on any day, and it'll show us some detailed information here. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.